Hey y'all, welcome to Living with Lemons. I'm Debbie, and this is more of my medical journey. So, May 6th through May 10th of this year, 2019, I went under the IVIG treatment for multifocal motor neuropathy. And it was a 5-day stint of infusions. Each day I came home excited to see my family and feeling relatively good, all things considered, throughout the day and just the effects that the medicine can have on the body. There was some discomfort that I experienced, as I talked about in one of my previous videos, during day 2 and day 3 when things changed and I endured some of the more intense side effects, which after going to the hospital, I was administered Reglan, an anti-nausea medication, and prednisone, a steroid, to help sort of subside those side effects and get me through the rest of my treatment, which I was told was required in order for me to be eligible for this treatment in the future. Lots of things I was told throughout the beginning part of my process I have since learned are not entirely accurate, and I'm educating myself as I hope that so many more others will continue to do through their experiences. There were some questionable moments during my IVIG week when I noticed treatment was ending sooner and infusions were being sped up towards the end of the day so that I could end sooner. And those may or may not be of importance. I'll let the professionals investigate that and decide that. But some of these things might be relevant to other people who get and seek care in the future. And so I mentioned that I had concerns. I was questioning it, but I didn't want to go out of my way to tell other professionals what their job was because it's not mine. And those things, are important for people to be observing. When you're getting infusions, pay attention to the rate and the dose and the timing, and just be mindful of that. If you start to feel like you're feeling more side effects, definitely communicate with your nurses about every subtle symptom you might have, because subtle symptoms might turn out to be something a little more intense later, and it's important to know when and where that began. Over the weekend after my infusion treatments, I felt kind of heavy and foggy. There was this fatigue, which I had anticipated kicking in. It felt like that day before you get the flu. That's what I would chalk it up to. That's what I thought it was. I get through the whole weekend and I get to Monday morning and start to feel a little bit heavier, but I'm still managing pretty well. I have this slight pressure headache that's sort of building up in the back of my neck and in the back of my head, but it was at a manageable level of pain, right? So maybe 4 out of 10. And so I tried not to think too much about it, and I understood that these were some of the potential side effects. So I continue on with the rest of my Monday and into my Tuesday. And the discomfort at this point increases a little bit more, and I'm still bearing through. So, Wednesday, May 15th. The fatigue is almost overwhelming. It increases throughout the day. It's bearable at the early part of the day, get through the morning, and then the pain from the pressure headache intensifies and the body aches intensify. I start to get this stiffness in my neck, and I can't really move my neck from side to side. It's by 5 o'clock when I realize I'm losing the ability to nod my head back and forth. The neck just kind of stiffens up. It felt like somebody shoved spikes up my back and just kind of had put my head on a post, and I couldn't move it. And any attempt to do so felt like this fishbowl effect. It felt like my brain had turned into a fishbowl, and every time I tried to move my head from side to side, I felt like this wave would just wash over me, and it was not a comfortable feeling. It was very painful, very uncomfortable. So I finally go into the ED, and it only took them a matter of minutes before they came back and said, "You need to be tested for meningitis. We're going to get a lumbar puncture." And yeah. So I didn't know that was a risk. I didn't know that was something I need to be concerned about. I didn't actually know a whole lot about what meningitis was before this. I've learned a lot. I've educated myself, and I'm aware of this now so that I can be prepared for any potential warning signs of it in the future. Everything I read up until I Googled that specific side effect had only offered that you might get flu-like symptoms. So I chalked all of my warning signs up to be those flu-like symptoms. And that was a lesson learned. So a lot happened during the week that I was in the hospital. There were a lot of horrible horrible mistakes made in the ED department and mismanaged care that may have intensified the symptoms I dealt with. And so I won't scare anybody with telling you about the extreme situation I was put in. I'm not sure how much of the side effects I'm still wavering out of might be from that dramatic experience. It got worse before it got better, and then it got worse again, and then finally started to get better. So that may not be the normal wave of how things go when meningitis is treated properly right away. So May 21st, Wednesday, the good stuff. I got discharged from the hospital and I went home with a walker. And so it took me about a week of managing to get my gait back and my balance. As you can see, I'm in my car, so I'm driving, I'm walking on my own, and I have minor moments occasionally, like if I stare at a pattern that kind of throws my brain off and I feel like I have to close my eyes. But I don't know how much of that is related to anything other than the meningitis. So that's what I'm going to chalk it up to be, is just my body is still recovering from this very traumatic experience. I followed up with my neurologist just a little while back, and she did the range of motion and reflex checks, and we see some maybe slight improvement in my left hand and some noticeable improvement in my left leg, which was only ever so slightly weaker than the right side before. And I was starting to have this issue with my ankle, which I can't show you, but my ankle, reflex was that the problem I was having with my ankle reflex is that I couldn't resist against pushing down or pushing up. And I think side to the side left movement, I was having a hard time being able to push against something when she applied force against the left side of my foot. And all of a sudden I'm pushing with a little more force than she noticed, where she documented it about a month ago. So slight increases, which I'll take slight. I'm happy. Despite everything that I went through recently, I'm seeing what I believe are positive results in only a month after IVIG. And yeah, holy wow, today is June 4th. It is about to be a full month since the first day of IVIG, and it's been a whirlwind. I definitely lost a few weeks there after the hospitalization and being sick and recovering, but I'm happy to report what I believe are signs of improvement. So if you're out there wondering about the IVIG, wondering about MMN, this is showing results. Up until now, I've been seeing a regular neurologist, but after this experience, I have been referred out by her to a neuromuscular doctor who works specifically with cases like this and is familiar with the MMN disease, as well as extensive experience with ALS. This experience was kind of scary, and there were a lot of little setbacks, but it didn't take my thunder. It did not shy me away from this. I am still stronger in my faith more than ever, and I am very hopeful and optimistic for what's to come. When life gives you a lemon, you live with it and you make as much juice as you can, because this baby's got a lot of juice. And I'll make lemonade, I'll make lemon souffles, I'm gonna make lemon flavored cheesecakes and all sorts of other lemon stuff. And if you're avoiding sugary stuff, drink a lot of lemon flavored water, because that's really good. It's actually so good. I like lemon and a little bit of cucumber. I know mixing those two doesn't sound like it makes sense, but try it. It will blow your mind. Thank you all for following up and watching my videos. Don't forget to like to show your support, share to inform, and subscribe so that you can follow me as I vlog my journey through this medical mystery of a disease. Thanks, y'all.